Welcome to the Metropolitan Nashville Davidson County Transportation Licensing Commission. My name is Pat McNally, and I am sitting in for the, what's he called again? The chairperson, yes. I would like to welcome everybody today. Now, I want to first read the appeal process. This is appeal of any decisions that may be at, yes, sir.
I apologize, I left off the pledge.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, we were virtually.
Yes.
I apologize.
Yeah, if you'll join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Pardon me.
All right. Now, it's also my duty today to read the notice of appeal should anyone have an adverse decision from today's, or any decision by the commission today. Pursuant to the provisions of Section 2.68.030 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws, notice is hereby given that if you are not satisfied with the decision made by the Metropolitan Transportation Licensing Commission, you may appeal the decision by petitioning for a writ of certiorari with the Davidson County Chancery or Circuit Court. Your appeal must be filed within 60 days of the date of the entry of the Metropolitan Transportation Licensing Commission's decision. We advise you that you seek your own independent legal advice to ensure that your appeal is filed in a timely manner and that all procedural requirements have been met. All right. Mr. Fields, are we ready to proceed with business today?
Yes, sir.
All right. Notice that first on here was approval of the minutes. Has the commissioners had an opportunity to review the minutes from May 27th, 2021?
Yes.
Yes. And I had an issue, one thing we decided that wasn't in the minutes but was in the rules, so I asked our esteemed counsel what we needed to do with it.
Yeah, and I said that that was fine as long as the exhibit constituting the changes that you all adopted to the rules was an attachment or exhibit to the minutes and incorporated by reference into them, that would solve the problem.
All right. And can we, just for clarification of today's meeting, can we state what it was that you noticed?
Yes, when we changed the operating hours for both scooters and e-bikes.
Okay. And that's not reflected in the minutes?
Not in the minutes, but it was in the rules.
And we did make that change and
Yes.
passed it?
Yes.
Okay. And you're saying that as long as we're attaching to the minutes the rules that were, the changes in the rules?
Revised rules.
Okay. Mr. Fields, will that is attached to the minutes?
Well, it will be attached
will
in the
be?
minute, in the official minute book and online.
Okay. So, with that understanding, is there a motion to approve the minutes from May 27th, 2021?
Also moved.
Second?
Second.
All right. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? You know, for the first time, I can't make motions or vote. So, all right. Now we're on to the public hearing. Mr. Fields, you want to take this or start with this, please?
I'll be happy to. The Metropolitan Code of Law requires that you have an annual hearing to consider any requests for changes or alterations of the emergency record zones. That hearing is typically held in June. We do not have any requests for additional zone operators or any changes among the current operators. So staff has no recommended changes either. I think like we've done before, I think it'd be appropriate for you to open the hearing to ask if anyone wanted to address any of the issues, even though there are no specific issues, but if they wanted to speak, they certainly could on the issue of emergency records, and then close the hearing. And I don't think there's any action other than if you, and then so I look back to legal, you could take action that you could make a motion that no changes be adopted if you like. But otherwise, your decision last year would stand until you make a change.
All right, we will open the public hearing now on the annual emergency record zone and assignment hearing. Has there been any request to speak today?
No, sir.
Anybody from the audience want to speak on this issue? All right. Then I will close the public hearing. Do we even need a motion to make no changes, or just everything just stays as it is, it seems like?
It's the same effect either way, I think.
So no action required.
All right.
Good.
Does anybody on the commission have any thoughts or want to share any insight or say anything at this time? I noticed we did have the map that showed the zones and everything.
Mhm.
Hearing none, we'll move on to the next part of business, okay? And I will say, it's kind of nice that some of the things that we historically used to deal with have sort of become non-controversial and nothing coming up, giving the new agenda with the mobile shared devices and everything else that we're dealing with. So, all right, moving on to the horse-drawn carriages, Mr. Fields.
We have one applicant who he made Dallas Lancaster made application to be a horse-drawn carriage driver. In making his application, he failed to disclose two charges in 2013, one theft and one legend drugs, and the other is a 2019 simple possession. None of them would preclude him from being a driver, but he did fail to disclose, so I have asked him to be present for hearing. And he is present.
And it looks like Mr. Lancaster's on his feet and moving towards the podium.
Yes, sir.
Would you introduce yourself to the commission?
Yes, sir. My name's Dallas Jacob Lancaster.
All right, Mr. Lancaster, you understand why you're here today?
Yes, sir, I do.
All right, do you have a company that wants to hire you?
Yes, sir, I do.
Who's that?
Sugar Creek Carriages.
Okay. So then the next questions obviously are, why did you not fill out your application completely?
Man, I really didn't have any jail time or anything out of that. The 2019 incident was a borrowed vehicle. It slipped my mind. I have, as a kid, I was kind of unruly. I like to run the roads a little faster than most people, but I've calmed down. I'm 28, going on 29 this year. Youngins and all. I don't run the roads like I used to, so my sheets are a little longer than some people's, but I've since stepped away from that, so I left out a few things, and I do apologize.
Well, the 2013 theft, was it a felony or a misdemeanor?
I've never had a felony charge,
So does that
so
mean
it
it was a
hadn't been a
misdemeanor?
misdemeanor.
Okay, what was the outcome of that case?
I spent I spent 2 years trying to go to jail. I walked to the jail. I walked back from the jail from Hickman County to Charlotte, on the other side of Dixon. Every time I would get there, the computers either would not have me in the system or they didn't have any information on me. So I spent 2 years, finally got with the lady I'm with now, and first month we were together, who is now my wife. Well, I had to go spend 2 weekends in jail after 2 years trying. So
Okay.
I would just spent that time, and I dealt with it and I moved on.
All right, then the 2019, that's only 2 years ago, was
Yeah.
a simple possession. How'd you forget that?
Well, I didn't add it on there. I borrowed the vehicle. I was removed from the vehicle. They hauled the vehicle away. It was not in my name. I was stopped going to work. He asked if he could search the vehicle. I had no reason to not let the man search the vehicle. I let him search the vehicle, and the young boy who owned the vehicle had some things in there. And when they found them, I was very completely honest. I have no reason to hide anything from them. I grew up in Franklin there. They hauled the vehicle away, and that night the boy actually left my house after me and my wife got his vehicle out of the impound, and he was gone for like 6 months.
All right, now I saw that you have a number of charges like the reckless driving.
Yes, sir.
I didn't see that on your application. Was it reckless driving, you're Jacob Lancaster, Dallas?
Yes, sir, I am.
Reckless driving, October 30th, 2013? Along with a financial responsibility, which is your insurance, and driving on a revoked or suspended license.
Honestly, Mister, I couldn't tell you any as far back as 13 which one that was or which one that had to do with. I've only ever had 2 car incidences as an accident, and the rest were just moving violations. So there was quite a few of those.
I'm looking on page 7 out of 9 of your TBI report at the top. And then in the middle, it talks about the driving on a revoked suspended license. Any reason you forgot to put that on there?
That's just a lengthy list. I don't have any reason to hide anything. I'm an upfront person. I tell you everything you want to know, down to my shoe size.
Okay.
Wouldn't be here.
I didn't ask for shoe size.
Yes, sir.
It asked for honesty on
Yes,
answering
sir.
the questions about your arrest and things.
Yes, sir.
All right, and notice you were convicted of what's titled Legend Drugs. What kind of controlled substance was it that you possessed?
Is that's around 13, 12 or 13 there?
Yes, sir.
All right, the girl I was with at the time, her brother and me were moving all his stuff in the
No,
house.
just what was the drug?
Some kind of his medication was left in my driver door, and I got stopped in Dixon. And when they asked to search the car, they found it in the door.
Okay.
I
And they
couldn't tell you.
played it out to
Something to his neck.
played out to a misdemeanor, 11 months, 29 days, suspend all but 48 hours, and a $50 fine.
Yes, ma'am. Or yes, sir. Sorry.
Okay.
Do apologize.
Is that all right? I suspect you're probably nervous up there.
Not too bad.
Why do you
I've
want to
just never
drive
been
for
here
Sugar
before.
Creek Carriage?
It's good company. I like Johnny. I like the way he teaches. I like the way he runs his company. He's steadfast. He's true to what he does. I like working for people who know what they're doing. Nobody wants to work for someone that doesn't know what they're doing.
All right, I asked you about the 2013 driving on a revoked and the financial responsibility
Yes, sir.
that you didn't remember and didn't put down in the report. What about the 2016 in Waverly, driving while license suspended? I didn't see that in your application. That's on page 6 of 9 in the TBI report that's in our package today. Don't remember that one too?
If it was Waverly, the only time I got stopped in Waverly, there was two. They said I was doing like 65, and I just pulled away from the red light. And the other, I was taking my family to the hospital. We were all sick with the flu down there. We had just got out from the river where we could get out. Their water had been over the road for weeks. So where we lived, you could not get out. So that's
I'm
the
more
only time I
concerned,
could have
I'm
been
not
stopped.
as interested in the facts of your arrest. I'm more
Right.
concerned about your failure to put these things down.
I honestly couldn't tell you. I mean, everything should have been listed on that list. There's 2 pages worth of information there, just to what I have that were printed out. I have
2 pages of what list?
of my driving record.
But your application I'm looking at here shows 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
There's 2 different applications. I've already sent in another application. I had to arrange for a second appointment here.
We got an updated one, Doug?
Yeah, when he came back in, what happens if they fail to disclose and we have to bring the commission? They go back for fingerprinting, and then the fingerprint then becomes what he presents to the commission. So the record you have is what he would have presented back to you. So he does have a new application.
Everything is on it.
Everything's on the new
Yeah.
application.
Everything. And probably some stuff you don't
Yeah,
need.
you've got, on the pre-application, a bunch of stuff there on the back.
I wrote it all.
All right. Does anybody else have any questions?
I noticed you got a speeding ticket last year. So if you've learned, have you learned since last year? What?
I have. I was actually taking my sons back. We were getting
I don't
back
care.
late.
I
Yes,
don't
sir,
care
understand.
how you got it. You
Yes,
got
sir.
it.
I mean, I don't
Okay.
have any reason to speed and go anywhere over the speed limit at any time. I've got 4 young'uns. I don't.
But you did.
They're in the car. I don't. It's not an option.
Well, obviously, you chose the option last, when was it? July?
Yeah, on Highway 50. Over
That
412.
either.
State trooper.
I guess my question is, will you treat the horse better than your cars?
Always. You should see my animals.
Yeah.
These are children.
Mr. Warren, do you have a question?
Oh, I didn't. It may be on his new application, but I noticed on the front page where it says completed training that you didn't mark yes or no. Is it
I
fully
could
updated?
completed training on site at the ranch with Whitney under Johnny's supervision.
Okay, and it may have just been an oversight. in
Yes,
the
ma'am.
application, but I just wanted to ask.
Yeah, that was on the original one when he did the reapplication.
He did
answer
serve,
that,
okay,
yeah.
thank you.
Paperwork is not my stronghold, though. I'm a hands-on person.
Any other questions? Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Fields, you got a recommendation on this one?
Yeah, you know, other than what he left off, he's qualified. The company would have trained him, and he should be qualified to be able to do this. Again, he did leave things out. We obviously have had the hearing on him, so he's qualified. Other than that, nothing would preclude him from being a driver.
All right.
A driver of a horse-drawn carriage.
Correct.
This is not a license to drive any kind of vehicle.
Only thing he gets to drive is a horse-drawn carriage with this permit.
That's right.
All right, is there a motion on Mr. Lancaster's application to operate a horse-drawn carriage?
I'll move for approval.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? You've been approved. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, you come back to the office. We open at 7:30 in the morning. You're welcome to come tomorrow and get your permit.
You're welcome. And Mr. Fields, and I don't want to make this meeting longer than it has to be because it looks like we're about to the end of it, but I didn't see the updated application, the second application.
Typically, we don't include it. We can for future. Typically, what we do is give you the original one that he actually failed.
Yeah.
When he comes back in, when they come back in and reapply, everything is on it. But we can start including both applications in the packet.
And when they come back in and reapply, are they given the benefit of seeing the TBI criminal record that you have generated, and then they can fill out their report?
Typically, what we're
Or
going to
their
do
application.
when they fail to disclose, we're going to deny it. They're going to come back in to reapply. When they reapply, we will give them a copy of their record, and their record, they didn't write it down, and a lot of times hand it back to us. Actually say, "This is my record," hand it back to us. So, so that's the way that works. They have to go back through fingerprinting, 2 sets of fingerprints, and the whole works.
All right. So there are consequences to it, having to pay for the new
Yes.
fingerprints and everything like that. I'm just wondering if they're minor things like Mr. Lancaster's, whether we can give you the discretion to go ahead and approve them when they come back in and they're confronted with their full record, or is there a rule that says we have to review it?
During COVID,
Yeah.
we asked for special permission to be able to do that. The process has always been director's discretion as long as they're qualified.
Mm-hmm.
If they're not qualified, then if they're not qualified, the commission nobody gets
Nobody
in.
gets it.
So it becomes director's discretion about, does the director feel comfortable approving it, or should the full commission? It basically started with domestic assault issues that you
Right.
always wanted to see if they were recent and if they were, and so forth. So we typically bring all domestic assaults to you that are within a 5, 6, in a time period.
And I think the other was the felonies within a,
Right.
yeah.
But, if the commission were to say, Mr. Fields, use additional discretion, use the COVID period discretion, we'll be happy to do that.
Could we put that on the next agenda and let all the commissioners have an opportunity to reflect on that, and also wait for chairperson to be here the next
Sure.
time?
Sure.
Because if they've already had to go back and spend the money to get new fingerprints, come in, go through the process, and then they're going to put it all down on the second application, wondering the futility of us having questioning. But I'm open to anybody else's ideas or thoughts.
One of the more frustrating, several years ago, an older gentleman applied to be a driver. In his application, he failed to disclose a assault charge he had in the 70s. That particular assault charge was in San Antonio, so I contacted San Antonio to find out about the charge. And as it turned out, it was listed on the books as assault with a broomstick. And I knew y'all needed some comedy today. So the clerk and I in San Antonio, Bexar County, as I recall, worked through it. Then we brought it to the commission. The commission approved him because he was eligible, but there was a very hard line in that particular period about what comes and what doesn't. So from a staff standpoint, we're happy to review them and make sure there's nothing that, one, would preclude them from being a driver, and two, anything that would rise to the level the commission really needs to look at it. But we can put that
Well,
discussion on.
On that last comment about the broomstick incident, I think we moved on to other business. Does anybody have anything they'd like to bring up today?
may be some business in July with scooters, we do have public hearings set for, and I'm saying this for the public's sake, in August we'll have public hearings to consider any applications for pedal vehicles and pedicabs or pedal carriages or low speed vehicles. And there is already at least one application and a couple more coming for pedals. So, but that's all the way into August.
Well, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? We're done. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information about this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.